So I've put this video together to show you one of the best front crawl drills for doing the ocean walker technique. The ocean walker technique is a front crawl technique I developed having swam the English Channel and had a ruptured bicep tendon and advised not to swim again by my surgeon. I wanted to continue the sport that I loved, so I had to find a way to take pressure off the shoulder when I pull and also to avoid spearing and driving my arm into the water, which also hurt me. As a result of developing this, I got across 6 more of the toughest channel swims in the world. I became the first British person to swim what's called Ocean 7, which is the toughest 7 in the world. I swam from Spain to Morocco, back to Spain. I got the British record one way, and I was the first British person to go both ways. I also swam from Molokai to Oahu, island to island in Hawaii, covering 60 kilometres and 17 hours of constant swimming. Island to Scotland was another one, and Tsugaru Channel in Japan, where I swam 50.5 hours. This was absolutely the reason that I got across those swims. And this drill is so effective in getting you swimming side to side. What's the benefit of swimming on your side, so pulling on your side? Well, you pull less body mass, so you're absolutely the smallest you can possibly be. And what that means is you're lighter to pull as well through the water. But the main reason I did it was to offload pressure in the shoulder. But once you get that full 180-degree rotation, you slide on your side and it creates momentum and glide. Now here, I've clamped my feet together. So I'm not actually using the leg kick, which helps accelerate the rotation. But this is a really good drill to just get you used to rolling from one side to the other. Now you have to get used to having a still head. So it's very important you keep your head absolutely still looking at the black line and you rotate around the head. So make sure you don't move the head. I take you through this in Ocean Walker Vimeo, my online coaching series. So you want to check it out. There's 35 videos. I add a video every month. Easy to subscribe. You get unlimited access and you can build it up with drills and I can show you how to do it. So check that out, Ocean Walker Vimeo. So here what I'm doing is I'm turning my feet from one side to the other and I'm only pulling once my hip drops. As I say, that takes the pressure off the shoulder. That means that I'm lighter to pull, and it also means that I'm getting a glide. That glide means that I do less strokes. I'm now 30 strokes less per minute. That's 1,800 per hour. You imagine when you're doing a triathlon and Ironman, that saving, not only physically making you feel better, but mentally as well. That makes you feel a lot more confident when you're in transition for the cycle and the run. And if you're doing a 5K or a 10K, you're saving so much energy. Now, pushing off on your side is something they do in the Olympics. So they do a tumble turn and they now go on their side because they know they're more efficient on the side than they are when they're flat. Now, when I was younger, they used to teach you to push off flat. Now, the problem with that is you've got bigger body mass. Now, I'm 6'5", and so I've got a big frame. So the more frame I put through the water, the more drag I'm going to have. But if I'm on my side, I'm the smallest I possibly can be because water is resistant. So what you want to do is you want to slice through the water as efficient as you can be, and then you end up cutting through and you make yourself more efficient. And remember, water is very inefficient, so there's no way around that. Human beings are inefficient in water. So if we slice on our side, as I say, I'm only doing what they do when they do a tumble turn. And also, by being on your side, you rotate into the pool. So that means you create more velocity into the pool by rotating into it. Think of the land-based sports. You've heard me say it before. Shot put, they rotate the hips, they drive the hips, and then they send the shot put. Discus, hammer throw, and then sports like climbing use the hips, tennis uses the hips, throwing, javelin, and what I modelled it on, which was kayaking. If you Google paddling.com, it says, put the paddle in, bring the hips back, and the chest follow the hips. What it doesn't say, and it said in big red bold when I read it, it said don't put the paddle in and use your chest, otherwise that can cause injury and it's not as powerful. So same with stand-up paddle boarding. Paddles in, hips go back, so they use the core, and then the paddle follows it to generate that power. So that's what we're doing here. We're rolling from one side to the other to generate that power. Now, I'm going to put more videos together, but as I say, if you look at Ocean Walker Vimeo, you can see how we build this up with drills, and then we add a foot flick in order to accelerate the rotation, which is the videos that you see me do. Here, the other benefit is, well, there's lots of benefits, but here's another one. When I'm on my side, I can sweep in a semicircle. So I don't have to lift overhead. That creates more energy and it's bad for the shoulder. Biggest crater of injury in swimming is throwing your arm overhead and a high catch. Here, we go round the side and we drop it lower. Now, when the arm's in a lower position to pull, there's no pressure on top of the shoulder. When we're advised to drive the arm into the water and go nice and high, well, then you've got to push water back. Most people push water down, the chest goes up and the hips drop, therefore creating more drag. So people say, oh, get over the barrel and push water back. Yeah, but your shoulder can't cope with that unless you're super flexible, because your traps go up and it's in an unnatural position. That's what causes a lot of injuries. A lot of people retire from a high catch problem because of training lots and lots doing that pull. So if you drop your arm lower, and by the way, when you're on your side with your arm lower, water passes over the top of you. So it's a different position than being flat. And also, by being on your side, your body is cutting through the water. So if you're flat with your arm high on top of the surface, your legs are going to want to drop. And then when you pull water down, your chest will go up and your hips will drop more, unless you can wrap your wrist around the water to get that nice catch. But when you're 25 plus, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, the body's going to start getting stiffer and tighter, and you're not going to be so flexible in the shoulder to pull water back. So this lower arm not only takes pressure off the water, it helps you into your catch. It also helps the hip get higher, so it's all less drag. If your arm's higher, chest is up, legs are down, you like to push water down, which lifts your chest up and makes you more inefficient in the body. So you can't just look at the arm, you've got to look at the whole body. Is it high? Are you able to pull water back? Are you able to pull yourself through the water comfortably without causing any pressure? So this is why being on your side, dropping the arm lower, puts you in a nice catch and takes pressure off that shoulder. As I say, it really can help give you longevity if you're swimming to an older age as well, particularly if you've not got that flexibility in the shoulder. So when we're cutting through the water, we must learn how to keep a head still. Often overlooked in swimming is the importance of a head. So that neutral head looking down, that helps connects your spine nice and straight. If you look forward and you put your arms higher, then your hip's going to want to drop, which is why pull buoys were invented, for people to help people get their hips up. You can get your hip up nice and high, as you can see here. I'm not even kicking, I'm hips up at the surface. How can that be? Because on my arms lower, I'm pushing down into the water and my head is in neutral position. So I have that downhill feeling, but what you see here, you don't really see downhill, you just see nicely on top of the water with the hip kissing the surface as I go out of the rotation. So this is the position that we want to be in. I say, if we look forward, every inch you look forward and you bring your arm up, your hips are going to want to drop, and that's going to cause drag and resistance. And if you do that in a flat position and you're the biggest you can possibly be, then that's even more resistance. So that's why it's the benefit of the rotation. Here, when I'm rolling that arm in, what I'm not doing is jarring it, I'm not spearing it, I'm not doing chest driven, I'm just letting it drop as a result of the feet turning, which drops the hip down into the water, hip initiated, as opposed to then driving it and accelerating and pulling my weight round, which I'm heavier. So it's all coming from the feet turning. So this is a really effective drill. Check out Ocean Walker Vimeo if you want to learn it. Go through step by step, and also you can come and see me in Lincolnshire, one-to-one lesson. I do that all the time. I've got a pool here and I can show you. And of course, there's swim camps around the world as well. So I hope that helps. Check out oceanwalkeruk.com. Check out Ocean Walker Vimeo. But this is the way to go. If you want to swim with longevity and you want to swim injury-free and get a nice glide, saving strokes, then this is the technique that will really help you. So I hope that helps you. And all the best, just keep practicing. And here, last tip, One foot can go underneath the other to keep the legs together. If you feel your legs are spraying, you want to clamp them together, and you're just turning your feet from side to side. By turning the feet, you actually turn the hip as long as you keep the head still. So get them stuck together, and that's really going to help by squashing them together, your feet, and just don't let them go loose behind you, because it's much harder to turn if your legs are apart. So again, hope that helped. All the best.